Hi, I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this cute applique dragon. Here's how to make him. Alright, this is the video showing how to assemble the dragon if you do not have a light box. So I've got all of my pieces prepared. That means they're cut out on the solid lines, and all of these dotted lines are transferred to the fabric side of the piece. On this one, the eyelashes, all of the dotted lines are placement guides, but the eyelashes are actually stitching lines, so only transfer those if you decide to stitch eyelashes, which you can leave them out if you don't want to, but this one is going to have the eyelashes. So all of my pieces are prepared, and I'm going to start positioning everything in the block. So I like to start with the neck piece because that is the one that goes off the edge of the block. So I do most of my patterns, I design what I call snapshot style. So I want it to look like I've snapped a photo of this animal and I've zoomed way in on the face. So it has a body, it's just cropped out of the photo. And to give that illusion, I line the straight edge up with the cut edge, the raw edge at the bottom of the block, so that when I sew them together, that edge will be caught in the seam allowance and it'll look like it's just cropped out of the photo. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to put in the head piece. And the head kind of sits at an angle. I had a line here that I transferred from the paper side of that pattern, and I'm just going to lay the head on so that it overlaps that line. And next up, I'm going to go ahead and put the back ridges in. I could have tucked them in before I put the head in, but they go all the way down to the bottom edge of his neck. And again, I just want to tuck them until that line that's on the orange shoulder ridges is covered up. And then I know I've got good overlap. Okay. Then let's put the nose in, his little snout. There we go. And let's do his ears. You know what, before we do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and put his flames in because that might make us need to move the dragon a little bit. So you've got a couple of options with these flames. They come out of his mouth here. You can adjust it in a way that it overlaps into the next block, and I will include I've got a tutorial that shows how to do that, how you can make some of the applique pieces kind of break into the space of a neighboring block, which is a really, really fun way to add extra interest to your quilts. But if you don't want to do that, you need to make sure that the dragon does not take up more than 10 inches of space. So I'm going to tuck the flames in there, and let's just put in, you know what, let's use this as a reference. So this is the placement guide that comes with the pattern. It's got all of the pieces. It'll help you do things like decide which of the little black ovals are nostrils, 10 and 11, or eyes, 12 and 13. The eyes are a little bit bigger. But it'll also show us where the widest points are. And this is actually so wide that the flames get cut off. I didn't worry about that because there's enough here to allow you to position it. But we want to measure between the side of this horn and the tip of the flames there. And we want to make sure that that's not any wider than 10 inches because that is the finished size of our block. So I'll just tuck this up here in case we need it again. So I'm going to put in the horns. There's one horn. And let's just do the other one just to get them balanced. I want them to be a little bit wider. You can play around with where the horns exactly are positioned. But then I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to make sure that from the edge of the flame to the edge of this horn, it is less than 10 inches. It's 9.5 inches. So I know that the layout that I have here is good. But you know what? I'm realizing that this is coming awfully close to this edge of the block. The dragon is not facing forward, so he's not quite as easy to position as some of my other blocks. So I am going to move this over a little bit here, just so we have a little bit more breathing room for those flames. We're going to check the measurement again. Yeah, I think this is going to be better. And this is one of the things that where a light box makes things easier, because you will assemble the whole dragon on the light box, and then you can peel it up as one already assembled piece and position it on your blocks. And it makes it much easier to center asymmetrical blocks like this one. So my lights, let me push my lights out of the way here. Okay. So that is still just coming in under 10 inches. And now there's a lot more space around the sides where I'll be able to trim this and still have 1/4 of an inch available, where I didn't think I had that. I don't think I had a full 1/4 of an inch on the other side of the flames before. So, okay, we've got it positioned where we want it in the block. So now we need to just add a few more things, like his ears. The ears sit underneath the horns. And again, just cover up that line. And then we'll do an ear on this side, and it's going to tuck under the head. It's going to sit below the horns. It's going to tuck under the head and over that the back ridges that he's got. And then we'll move this horn up here more, because you can see in the reference photo that the ear and the horns just touch where they go behind the head. So now, before I put the eyes in, I'm going to just check the spacing one more time and make sure moving that horn didn't hurt anything. And it is actually great. All right, now we can put in the eyes and the nostrils. So we've got one eye and the other eye. And when you've got the eyelashes there, they do give you a nice little guide, because you want to get it so that those eyelashes kind of come out of the top side of the eye. And now nostrils. Number one. And the second nostril. There we go. All right, I'm going to take this over to my ironing board and fuse everything into place, and then I'll do all the outline stitching around it and bring it back and show you the finished block, as well as 2 other dragons that I made using different colors. All right, here is the finished dragon. This is the version that I made that included the eyelashes, but I've got a couple more versions that I made using different colors, because dragons can come in any color. So here's a blue dragon that I made, and he does not have the eyelashes, and I just made him entirely blue. I liked the way that that made the flames really stand out. And I've got one more version. This one is an orange dragon, and I gave him some contrasting green horns and these back ridges. I often like to make those be the same color, and then the body of the dragon be all one color. So that is how you make the dragon. I'm Wendy from Shiny Happy World, and I'll see you next time.